You know, I've litigated with Afriforum and Roots before, and they've never brought someone so weak as you. I think they've done the worst disservice to themselves. You're thinking very low of black people. Must be ashamed of yourself. Be ashamed of yourself. How can our people celebrate death? Our people have never done that. These people are, my Lord, they were not even going to court. They were never part of the court. Until the court staff had to go and lock itself in a room where right-wingers, gangsterism went to break the court, where right-wingers turned the police van upside down and police were helpless. The people said, we will defend our institutions of democracy, and they did that. And when they arrived there, they were showing their displeasure. These people are angry at what these white right-wingers have done. And in showing their displeasure, you say they were celebrating. My Lord, after that, one, those white African right-wingers never went back to court to mess up the court. Two, our people never went back there because order was restored in Senegal. Police had given up and ran away. Our people went to defend their police, which is a revolutionary thing to do. When the democratic state is under attack by vigilantism, the people themselves have got a duty to take up the streets and make sure they defend the institutions of democracy. And I'm happy that I was leading from the front to restore order in Senegal against vigilante groups which were destroying the courts and the police station in Senegal. There's no celebration there. There's no single poster, my Lord, that can be shown on this video. What a good riddance. The Boer died. Good thing, happy. And when we celebrate, we bring all types of things, by the way. If you see us celebrating, there is trumpets, there is goo-boo, all types of things. We bring them together and we celebrate. So here, it's not a celebration, my Lord. It's an occupation of picket lines. Your parents have left you a bad name. So that is the context I'm using it. So please, if you are going to be a legal representative, you are going to have to reduce yourself from this case as an individual. Remove your emotions and deal with me as a professional. Because if you are going to come to me as a personal person, individually, I will no longer look at you as a professional. I will decisively deal with you as an individual.
Let's pause for a moment. I think we're going to take a tea break. But I think one of the...
It is white people who must be ashamed of what they've done to us. You cannot turn tables now and want to blame me for the crimes committed by white people. It is a white regime that killed children in 1976. It is the white regime that killed children in the 80s and in the early 90s. It is white people who engaged in the wars of dispossession and forcefully took our land and our cows. Why can't you take responsibility? Why can't you for once just say sorry for the crimes we've committed against you? Why do you want to become victims when we are the biggest victims here? When we have lost everything? When we as black people remain a traumatized nation? A nation that doesn't know what the future holds for them. At least you are guaranteed the future. At least you know if it doesn't work for you here, you can go somewhere else. We've got nowhere to go. And then you come here and want to accuse me, a victim of racism, of being a racist. It's a huge insult, not only to me, but to black people. Madiba coerced us into reconciling with people who have never been one with. That was a myth. It is unrealistic. You can't reconcile if you've never been together. You never came here with an intention to be with us. You came here with an intention to conquer us. And we remain conquered.
Your party, from what I understand, has received about 10% of the vote. At the way it stands no possibility of ever being elected into into government. Do you currently run any municipalities, for example?
I'm going to be president of this country, whether you like it or not. Yes. And I'll preside over the affairs of this country, including presiding over you. I think you must start adjusting to that reality. The sooner you do that, the less chest pains you'll have when that reality comes.
What chest pains would result?
Racist chest pain. Best. So, Roots will not have that appreciation because the black people Roots know the first black person he saw is a domestic worker in his house when he grew up. The second black person he saw was a security guard at the gate when he got out. The third black person he saw was a cashier at the shop owned by white people. The fourth black person he saw was the cleaners where he went to school. Those are the blacks he has had an interaction with. And he thinks of us like that because that is his exposure to black people. And therefore, always characterizing us as non-thinkers, as baboons, as people who can't think. That's why if they hear a leader says, kill the Boer, they can go into the house and take machete and go and kill people. Because these are non-thinkers. That's how they view us, that's how they characterize us. It's unfortunate that we find ourselves in a society where we coexist with such people who look at us and who think of us like that. We don't think like that about them. Our leaders never thought of like that about them. Despite the fact that they engaged in genocide of black people when they came here, despite conquering us in the wars of dispossession, despite killing kids in 1976 and in the 80s, we don't think of them like that. We never thought of them like that, but they think like that about us. That's very bad.